live stream all day globally has been acting up. So if like I've tried typing comments a few times, they haven't gone through. Yo went through. So what I'll do is I'll just stick to my script. You could try commenting. If it comes through and I could see it, I'll answer it, but I'm going to stick to the script. I'm going to go over, just so you know, whenever you're catching this, if you're catching this live or if you're catching this on the fight feature channel, the fight prediction playlist, I'm going to start with the Sydney card. Now, wherever you are in the world, check your books. The two books that I use here in Australia, Sportsbet doesn't have the Aussie fights tonight. Bet365 does. So I'll be going over that right now. All right, guys. So check your books. We're only getting 2 fights. We're getting the Chanel Dargan versus Shotgun fight, and we're getting Marco Romeo versus Jason Malia fight. Now, Chanel Dargan, Shannon O'Connell. I have the action. I'm taking Chanel in this fight. She's the younger fighter. Shannon O'Connell's been there, done that. She's been in the game a long time. She's the face. You know, she carried the torch for women's boxing. For Australian women's boxing. They're calling this a sort of crossroads, or not crossroad, passing the torch sort of fight. And I personally, I'm friends with Chanel. I'm not trying to talk you out of your bets. I'm just telling you where I'm putting my money. I want to see Chanel win, A, because I think she could do it, and B, for her career, and C, it'd be great for her and her family and all that good stuff. So there's a bit of a personal decision on my end why I'm taking Chanel. So I have action on this card. 2-leg parlay. It pays plus 550. Chanel Dargan, and then Marco Romeo. Okay. So I'm gonna play you just a message. I'm not gonna tell you who it's from. Not gonna tell you who it's from, but I'm gonna play you a message. Just because I like you. So this is in relation to this message I'm going to play you is in relation to Marco Romeo versus Jason Malia fight, okay? This is from one of my guys who's a fighter, but I'm not going to tell you.
But Romeo's coach is a ref judge. He's an R&J, and this is a bit more of a locally sort of, he does the matchmaking for the amateurs for this organization and stuff. So, yeah, you know what that means. So,
That's all it says. And that's all I'm going to give you. And that was enough for me to take Romeo. So Romeo is a plus 275. So it's Australian domestic. I'm taking Romeo a plus 275. His father's a judge. The family's involved with matchmaking. He's the A side, but he's the dog. I'm leaning on my source. My source is a boxer, fights in Australia. So there you go. If you want action, that's my action. I got Dargan, 2 dogs, Dargan and Romeo, plus 550. And then we can move on. So PJ says Bet365 here in North Carolina. It has just the Dargan fight. So Chanel, I'll pull up Chanel. We'll talk a little bit about it. If you guys need a visual to put to a name. Shout out to Wanderer Promotions. It's good to see another promotional company not named No Limit in Australia having cards, having nice little events. This is the card. It's at the Sydney Casino. I live right by there. I actually might go to this. The thing is, the card starts at 6. I have sparring at 5. Depending on how sparring goes, if it's an easy spar, I'll go. If not, I might just watch this at home. It'll be streaming live on Fight. I think it's Triller TV. Or if you just go to Wanderer Promotions Instagram right here and you click here, click on that link. you'll be able to watch the fight. So that link just took me there. Okay. So they should have the weigh-ins. So this is Malia versus Romeo. Well, I want to see some stare downs. Here we go. So this is Chanel and Shotgun. Dude, Shotgun's always in shape. She's 43 years old. I think Chanel might be 31, 32. If you've never seen Chanel Dargan fight all action, this is going to be a really, really fun fight. Even if you don't have action on this, this is a fun fight. Tune into this fight. I might go just for this, just to see it. Shotgun O'Connell, she's a legend in female boxing here in Australia, and Chanel I think is next in line. I was at Chanel's fight against Amber Amelia. That was on the undercard at Timzu versus Tony Harrison. So the Aussie girl fights, man, domestically, all action. And both front foot fighters. This is the weigh-in for, this is Malia. That's the favorite. I'm going Romeo, dude. I'm going to lean in on my source. I played right there. His father, matchmaking, the family be involved with matchmaking and judging. He's the A side, but he's the dog. I'm dogs will be barking tonight, baby. Let's go. Double tap dog parlay at plus 550. Little half unit sprinkle out this motherfucker. All right, we shall move on. Now, boys, I will bring up, speaking of which, I just got that fade up, boy. Get that line up a little bit. You know you gotta stay clean up. You gotta stay cleaning. Let's go. You always gotta stay good. You gotta stay fresh and so clean. Come on, man. Outcast taught us that. All right, so I'm going to pull up Sportsbet now. And we're going to look at the odds for moving forward. The first fights offered to me. Guys, go to our Patreon and go to the YouTube members only section. I've dropped 3 tickets so far. I gave you my dog of the week. I gave you my prop of the week. And I gave you my long parlay. So the long parlay is up. The dog is up. The prop is up. That's 3. I just told you who I'm taking in Australia. So that's 4. It's just that not everybody has those fights, so I might as well just give that away for free. So that's 4. If Dargan's the only one that you could get, sprinkle something on the dog, little half unit. I think she's going to be barking, man. I think she's going to outwork O'Connell. And then I have a safety net parlay that's coming. I'm just waiting to see if props are, if more fights open up, because it's only Thursday here. Tomorrow's Friday. I'm hoping that a few of these pro box fights get offered, and I have like a 4-leg safety net parlay. That's usually the one where we go heavy on. We've hit our safety net parlay 4-legger 6 weeks in a row. So that'll be the 5th ticket, and I think I really like a method of victory on a couple other fights. So we're going to go over it right now. Guys, sorry about the comments. I'm not in control of all this. But some of the comments are coming in. I see, maybe it's just a regional thing. Ranvar Litter. Ranvar Litter's an OG, man. He's been commenting on my content for a few years, man. I appreciate the support. You need to join the Insider. You need to become a VIP, baby. Emmanuel Rodriguez. Oh, you're talking UFC. You're talking MMA there. Oh, you're combining MMA and boxing. Ooh, danger. I don't like combining the two. It's like the Seinfeld episode, Two Worlds Colliding. I don't know if you guys ever watched that. I never watched Seinfeld until I met my girlfriend. I would have been in my mid-30s when I met her. We've been together almost a decade. She loves Seinfeld. I started watching it in my mid-30s. I was like 20 years late to the party. Boys, if you guys are bored, dude, Seinfeld's actually silly. Like the old episodes, man, they actually hold up. All right, kid. Here we go. So this is the book. Now, I'm going to go over this. Connor, Quinn, Jake, Dodd. You look at these fights and you're like, one guy has 6 fights, one guy has a little bit more than a handful. I'll show you what I mean. So Jake Dodd is the plus 285, right? So this is the dog at plus 285. Had a kind of spotty amateur record. He had a below 500 amateur record. In the pros, he's 6-0. He's a 2-1 dog. Guys, remember, bet at your own risk. This is domestic level betting. Domestic level. So we're not looking at world titleists here. We're looking at D-Gen action. Let's not get it twisted. But we're gonna go over it for the boys. 6-0. Connor Quinn, who's 10-1, he is the favorite. Connor's 10-1 with 6 stoppages. These are super flyweights. Connor's last one was a guy who was 0-29. That's all I'm going to say. You guys make the call. If you guys want to bet on this fight, you make the call. Okay, let's move on. I don't know if I'm betting on that fight. It's safe to say I'm probably not betting on Connor Quinn versus Jake Dodd. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Connor's coming out 0-29. Connor's 2 fights ago, he fought a guy who was 11-1, lost for the first time in his career. And then after the loss, they give him some home cooking. You're fighting a guy who's 0-29. And so now his next fight's against 6-0 Jake Dodd, who had an amateur record of had more losses than wins. So bet at your own risk there. A lot of these fights, Figo Ramirez, I think nothing's really interesting. This fight's interesting to me. If we're looking at odds and we're looking at matchmaking, this fight's interesting to me. I shared this in the Discord. All I did was I put the odds and I put both records, and I'll show you that in a second. You got Aguiar, who's a $1.27 favorite, facing Luis Lopez. He's the veteran, 3-1 dog. Let's look at these records real quick, boys. All right. So this is the 3-1 dog. Now, what pops off on the screen for you guys, for you educated boxing heads, like we all are? Guys, wherever you are, we're 15 minutes in. Even though the comments are suspicious, we're floating between 40 and 60 people in here. So like the video. I apologize if your comments, it's a YouTube bug that's going around globally in the live streams over the last 24 hours. They're having trouble with the comment section. But hey, we're here, and our live stream is about the chat. So I'm going to stick to the script. Lopez is a 3-1 dog. Check your books. The one stat you have to pay attention to is that number 4. Why is that significant? He has 4 draws. We know these are B-side draws, right? This guy, so for how much I think that he's live, 29 years old, Corona, California. That's the Inland Empire. Corona, California. When I lived in Southern California, Long Beach, I think Corona would be called the 808. I think Corona's the 808. And it might be the IE. But tough people come from Corona. It's the high desert. You know what I'm saying? So they're 16-2, never been stopped. 4 draws. Whenever a guy has 4 draws, it screams to me he's the B-side all the time. It doesn't scream to me that he's, probably a lot of these fights probably should have went the other way. It's just sometimes on these promotions, if the B-side wins, they'll just call it a draw instead of letting the A-side lose, sort of thing. I'm presenting this to you guys to do your research. I couldn't find much tape. Back-to-back draws. So he drew with Adrian Vargas, who was 15-0. Jesus Sriracha was 14-2. beat Alan Sanchez, who was 23-5, beat Resendez, who was 8-0. So I mean, it's not like he's fighting guys 0-29. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm starting to unpeel that onion and we're looking for like, hey, is this dog live? That's kind of my process. I look at the record. I look at obviously the win, loss, the draw. Has the guy been stopped? No. He has 4 draws. He's a B side all the time. And then you start looking at who he fights. Winning record, winning record, winning record, winning record. It's like this guy's freaking tough, dude. 29 years old. Let's see who he's fighting. Ruben Aguiar. Ruben Aguiar is 23-0 with 20 knockouts. We have to take a closer look at this record. He's 23-0 with 20 knockouts. Who's he knocking out? 20-7, 8-3, 7-3. He drew with Ricardo Rodriguez, who was 17-2. So I mean, it's all in Mexico. It's all in Mexico. Watch your tape. We got 48 hours. We got 48 hours. Just so you know, I have my eye on that one. If I do jump, if I do dog hunt, I'll let you know. Part of what I do, full transparency. I kind of let you know where my head's at on these fights. I think that, Lopez might be live here. I still have to find some tape, some recent tape, send some messages out. Do your own research too, and we will move on. On to the next one. Booyakasha! Booyakasha! All right. We're grooving. We're grooving. What's up, boys? I appreciate the chat, man. I appreciate you guys. Wherever you're tapping in, just like this, subscribe. Make sure you check out my breakdown of Nav versus Sugar. That's going to be a fun firefight, an all-Mexican unified world title at 130. Let's go. In a perfect world, my boy Rafa would scoot up from 26 to 30 and then fight the winner of it. Like, dude, 126 and 130 has some sneaky, sneaky fun fights to make. Okay, so we were moving on. So now we're on Pro Box. We got Edward Vasquez versus Machuca. So Edward Vasquez, Texas fighter, solid guy. He's been in close fights, lost close fights. Some say he should have won, some that he should have lost. I think he has 3 losses. He got his ass beat from pillar to post the last time we saw him by Rafa Espinoza. So no shame in that. Rafa is one of my favorite champions. Vasquez gets stopped, I think, in the 6th or 7th. Never was in the fight. Small kid, too. Tough matchmaking. I think this is what you would call a bounce back fight. $8, though, I'm only referencing it because maybe if we could get method of victory in another 24 hours, I might play a prop on that. But so I have my eye on Vasquez's fight. If props open, if I don't talk about it on tomorrow's live stream, remind me because it's in my notes. So what we're getting into the thick of it here. You know what I'm saying? We're always gonna find wins. This is like the nitty gritty, boys. Like whether it's a Pro Box card, obscure Sydney card at the casino down the street from my house, we gonna leave here with something. Q Denzel, I'm leaving here with something. So we got about 6 hours before the Sydney fights, and then another 48 hours before these fights. So I'm waiting for an Edward Vasquez prop. Okay. People have been messaging me about Ben Fail and Mason Cartwright. Now, once again, the odds on this on the money line, $1.28, 20% on 100 will hype up a parlay. It's not, 20% on 100, a 20% return, depending on how you're looking at your wallet, depending on how you're looking at your bankroll. A 20% return on any stock, it's 20% return. You know what I mean? So it's not the end of the world. Ben Fail, don't judge him by his name. He's an undefeated fun prospect out of the UK. He's being propped up by Frank Warren, by Queensberry. He's George Littard's training partner. We know how big of a dog George Littard is. George Littard looks like he's the next up coming out of the UK. He just won a 50-50 fight in which I bet against him, and he looked freaking amazing. I think he has that one of my favorite optically belts. One of my favorite, like what the belt looks like aesthetically, is that Commonwealth belt. I like the Commonwealth belt, the pink, the green, like all the different colors. It's one of my favorite belts, and it's old. It's an old historical belt. So George Littard has that, and Ben Fail is his training partner and his sparring partner. So Ben Fail, we could pull him up. His opponent, too, has been stopped, I think, 2 or 3 times out of his last 6 fights. Let's have a look. But you know the internet's nuts. They see a kid, a boxer with the last name Fail, and be like, what the hell? You couldn't have changed that last name? Okay, so Benny Boy. And there we go. I hate box rec. We'll go to his Tapology. Big Ben. They call him Triple B. Big Ben. So this is Benny Phil, 10-0. He's fighting Mason Cartwright. This is another fight that I'm waiting to see if props open up. I like Ben on the money line. I like Edward Vasquez on the money line. But this is why, if you guys see my long parlay that's up on the Patreon and on YouTube, I don't have these fights in there because I like props on these fights. So I'm waiting to see if we could get options. Dude, the internet is... Dude, pop-ups. This is Mason Cartwright. So Cartwright, he's 23-4. Of his 4 losses, he's been stopped 3 times as of late as well. So it's just something you got to think about. He's on a 4-fight winning streak. He put himself back into, so Troy Williamson, he got stopped against Antwi. He got stopped against Danny Bell. He got stopped against Darren Tetley. He went the distance with Troy Williamson. So as of late, he's shown better, Nick, as of late. But I think that, sometimes with the matchmaking, because he's won 4 in a row, and people think that Ben Fail can make a run at one of these sort of like domestic titles, his opponent going the distance with Troy Williamson and that being his last loss, and Troy Williamson having just beaten Callum Simpson, sometimes you could use the matchmaking could sometimes be made in that, hey, let's put him up against this guy. Let's see where he's at. Mason did all right against this guy, and Troy's been in there with world champion. Troy fought Josh Kelly. So that's kind of where I'm at with this fight. I'm just waiting for props to open up. We're going to move on. We shall move on. We shall move on. So I do like Luke McCormick here. The odds are shit. But I gave, I think, a 6-leg long parlay that's plus money. So it might be 8 legs. It's plus money, though. That's all that we care about. I'm not going to give you any tickets that aren't plus money unless it's like a $1.90 prop and we're getting a 90% return. So I'm hoping that we get a prop on the Ben Fail fight. I'm hoping we get a prop on the Edward Vasquez fight as well. Okay. This is a fight I like a lot. I've taped these guys. Owen Cooper versus Konstantin Ursu. Mate, I like Konstantin Ursu, man. So I like how he fights. And I like how big he is. Both guys are in their mid-20s. Both guys are kind of on the cusp of their physical prime. It should be close. I think Konstantin, those physicality, size, and power is going to start pulling him away. So neither guy has like a high knockout to win ratio. Now, I do have Ursu on a prop because if you like Ursu, $1.49, 49% return on $100 is great value if you're a heavy guy. You know, a guy who would put 10 grand on this would get 5 grand back. I know guys who bet that way who are in our Discord. Or if you're more of like a, you know, $1.49 is great to add value to a 4-leg parlay, even like a 2-legger. But I like Constantine on points at plus 120. So I think he might have 4 or 5 career stoppages. I don't think Cooper's been stopped. Let's pull it up. I hate box rec. I hate box rec. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I'm not gonna sign into box rec. Constantine Tapology. Constantine Tapology. Okay, so this is Ursu 14-0. I think he might be 20. He's Moldovan born, Russia, former territory of Russia. Don't judge me on my what's the word? Topology. Topology while I'm looking at tapology. Ha! 14-0. I think he might be 25. Yep. I think he has 5 knockout wins. And he's going up against Owen Cooper, who's 11-1, and Cooper has, I think, 4 knockout wins. I don't think Cooper wins this fight. Cooper fought Echo Estiman. People love that. People think that Owen Cooper's live because of the names that they've been in there on individual resumes. Cooper's the one who stepped up. Echo Estiman, and then he got stopped. He got stopped 2 years ago. And then he, on a bounce back win, he came back and got a dub against a 17-2 guy. So it's a close fight. I just really like Ursu on points here. I think Cooper will be tough enough to hang around. Like I said, when I watch the tape, I just like Ursu's work. I like his physicality. I like his size, and I like his power. And so, and I like the energy that he's coming in with. He is the B side though, so keep that in mind. He's I think he lives in the UK, but he's Moldovan born, so he reps the Moldovan flag. And on points is plus 120, so that's a fight that you guys could check out. Let me see if I could take some of the questions. Yeah, YouTube be acting up. King pound for pound in the house. The GOAT. Sis, you the GOAT. Randall Light. Havelock. Yeah, YouTube is acting up, man. What's up? Donaire. When's Donaire fighting? Nonito Donaire? What are we talking about? Is he still fighting? Surely he's not fighting still. Surely you can't be serious. Of course I'm serious. And don't call me Surely. He's fighting. Rico Masuda. March 15th. All right, that's my mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Rosie. My little rosebud. Mama Rose. Her birthday is March 15th. Makes me happy. So, hey, thanks for bringing up the Donaire fight, because then that Donaire fight led us into a preempted early birthday love. Shout out to the Rose. Okay, Kiza, you think he stops him? The reason why I'm hesitant on taking, and I know you're in the UK, Kiza, the reason why I'm hesitant, I have gun shy. I kind of have PTSD on taking UK fighters by stoppage. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not pushing back. So our common ground is we both agree that Ursu gets the dub. So, and guys, if you're new to the game, people can tell you that it's easy. Dude, I mean, the levels of difficulty of winning on betting get harder and harder once you get past the odds, meaning that like the odds, big favorite, all right, it's not, you don't have to be a genius to say that the big favorite might win 80% of the time. But then, even if you have the big favorite, and in this case, he's not a big favorite, it's kind of a coin flip, but even if you have a big favorite, you got to pick the method of victory. That's when it gets tricky. So there's a lot of factors that lead into this. And it's not just styles. It's like, where's the fight taking place? Who's the A side? Who's the ref? But historically, UK refs do have a history, at least in the last 24 months, 2 years, of stopping stuff early on the feet. They'll just break a fight up. But stylistically, you don't see a lot of high knockouts in the UK. Like look at the records on BoxRec. So what I'm doing is I'm leaning on the fact that even though Ursu's opponent Cooper got stopped against Eko Essuman, he's coming off a win. He was competitive in that fight until he wasn't. I'm expecting it to be close. I'm hoping a nip and tuck fair, and I'm hoping on points. But yeah, I can see why you're going the other way. The last thing I'm ever going to do is try to talk you out of your bets too. Guys, if you're new to the channel, if you joined on Patreon or joined on YouTube and you're in the Discord, I want to make this announcement. The most disrespectful thing you could ever say to me is minimize everything I do by just saying all I want to see is your bet slips. Because I had a guy message me in the Discord, I don't care about that. I don't care. I just want to see who you're taking. I almost want to be like, bitch, I only charged $6-7. You just got banned. I'm not doing it to sell my this is the love of the game, dude. You know what I'm saying? I guess I never had somebody just totally deduce all of my effort and hard work into just saying, I don't care about that. Duh. So if you're here just for that, dude, see your punk ass to the dope. Let's move on. Okay, here we go. So we talked about this. I think the Ursu fight is going to be a competitive fight. I think of the weekend, if you're a boxing head, the Ursu versus Cooper fight is going to be a fun fight. I mean, and this is I guess a testament to us, our group, and whoever's tapping in is like, I don't know if there's many other. I know Gary's talking about this 3D. If you're not following 3D, go give my man a follow. But I don't know if there's many other channels on Earth that are excited about Ursu versus Cooper in terms of like boxing groups breaking down fights. Like we will break. It's not just Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios around here. We do all the fights, dude. And that's what I mean by the love of the game. And even if you got even before I met you guys and I was streaming last July, I'm not even a year in. That's why it's exciting because we're growing. Wait till you see this fiasco in like 4 years. You know what I'm saying? We're not even a year in. And so it's interesting. Like I'm excited to see Ursu and Cooper, just as I was excited to see Garcia and Barrios, just as I was excited to see Bud versus Canelo, just as I'm excited tonight to see Dargan versus Shotgun. I think I mean I get to this. This is what I do. All right, boys. All right, here's one. I got and this is shout out to all the boys who send me messages on Insta. So a few of you guys have my mobile device, maybe 3. I wake up every morning. I had messages about Parpoca here versus Martinez. I really rate Cardenas. And going into, did you watch Arturo Cardenas' last fight? And I want to answer a question because I heard Gary on his live the other day say he doesn't know why the books call him Papoka. Here's the answer to that. It's because in BoxRec, and this was Team Cardenas did this. There was already a Arturo Cardenas in BoxRec, so he's changed the name just for that case. So Papoka I think might be a maiden family name, or the other way around. But that's why it's a different name. The books have it this way, but BoxRec has it that way. But the Cesar Vaca fight. Like I saw, Cesar Vaca is a very tough fighter out of Tijuana. I was ringside to his fight for Sam Goodman, and this is the fight Sam fought before he fought Nick Ball, and I felt like, and we saw what Sam looked like against Nick Ball, very competitive fight, and Sam is a 122 pounder, a very small dude who went up and fought Nick Ball really tough, and Cesar Vaca fought Sam Goodman really tough in Sydney. And I was really impressed with Vaca. And he then, after that loss, he then fought Arturo Cardenas. And the odds were really wide going into it. But the first 2 rounds, it was very close. You got to see the first 2 rounds, Cardenas versus Cesar Vaca. It was like, oh shit, the dog is live. But then you started seeing round 3. You started seeing the benefits of sparring, those sparring partners at RGBA. You started seeing the benefits of the camp. Robert Garcia. This is all Popoca. And then you started seeing the body punching. And Cardenas looked spectacular. So he's fighting against this is his fight, his first fight after the Cesar Vaca fight against Jordan Martinez. I expect Arturo to look equally as impressive. I might roll the dice here and take a knockout. I mean, that kid, the way he sits on his body punching. I mean, when we're looking at prop bets worth a sprinkle and value playing, plus 225 Arturo by knockout. I mean, let's see if this is a 10-rounder. This kid could box, man. Like I rate him. I think he's one. I mean, everybody loves Chop Chop in the RGBA camp regarding prospects, man. I think this dude. Four-inch height advantage too. You mix the 4-inch height advantage with the pedigree, with the camp, with the style. I kind of like it, man. If I do jump on this prop, I'll let you know. Because that's what, what's the word of the year? What's 2026's word of the year from me to you? Value. And it's paying off. So 4-inch height advantage, the season, the pedigree, his trajectory. I think Popoca is a potential. Like I rate him, man. Just the aggression, his accuracy, his punch. He kind of might sometimes jumps off to a slow start, but he has to get into that rhythm. He has to feel you out. He has to get your timing down, and then he starts. Once he has that timing figured out, just rewatch the Cesar Vaca fight. Looks close, looks close, looks close. Started figuring Vaca out, getting his speed. Dude, I didn't even mention his speed. His hand speed and punch placement, man. There is a lot to like about Cardenas. And plus 225 for stoppage. I'm very close to playing that. Here are the comments. They both foul out of Journeyman early on, who jabbed not to get finished. I think they both got more power than the record shows. He's talking about the Ursu versus Cooper. People don't even know how lucky it is having a voice in your channel. A lot of other cappers don't. A lot. People don't even know how lucky it is having a voice in your channel. Look, man. I think I grow this as a community, man. Gassville. It's my whole objective from jump was creating a community of like-minded people like myself who love boxing. So I feel that your voice is equally as important as my voice, and I learn just as much from you boys. I do, man. Like so, I didn't know that. I don't. The only other, like I told you, I watch Gary 3D boxing. I watch Joe Stunner boxing. I watch Paulie Malignaggi and Tommy Ranon. So and you guys have seen all 4 on my channel. The only guys I watch, I bring on my channel. Other than that, man, it's all us. We're trying to, we put our. I don't got an energy for all the other stuff. I didn't know that they don't. A lot of other they don't allow voices. So they don't answer. They don't talk to their community. Is that what you're saying? Fast car in the house. PJ in the house. PJ's fast car. GK in the house. Moten, Vargas, Smalls, Moneyline. Yeah. What am I tripping on, Abel Ramos? I don't have action yet, but I'm glad you brought that up, GK. Am I overthinking this? Is Tamir Smalls left a bad taste in my mouth 2 fights ago when he weighed in 10 pounds over. And I think it's because I could get caught once again, the whole ethical thing, because I'm a coach. It's like, dude, how can I bet on a guy? He missed weight by 10 pounds. Let me show you. But he's a tough Philly guy. Abel, when you look at their resumes too, man, like there isn't a lot on Tamir Smalls's career. Okay, so Tamir's 16-0 from the Illadel. The Clarence Booth fight. Somebody should go to prison for allowing this fight. I'm all about sending people to prison. somebody, somebody should go to prison for allowing this fight to take place. Look, so Tamir Smalls fights Clarence Booth 2 fights ago. Tamir Smalls stops Clarence Booth in the second round. Let me show you something. Clarence Booth weighed in at 148 pounds. The fight was supposed to be at that weight. Tamir weighs in at 158. A 10-pound 158. I brought this up the other day on my live stream. People call bullshit. I was like, dude, look, stats don't lie. I remember watching this fight. And so, look, I'm only bringing that up because it's like, why do you miss weight by 10 pounds, dude? Is it a discipline issue? I mean, you're going to be in there with Abel Ramos, a legit world level pro. You better be disciplined. I don't know why that fight makes me hesitant to bet on. If anything, I see Abel Ramos, who, a PBC fighter, hasn't fought in 18 months, probably beat Mario Barrios, but it was a draw. Dropped Barrios, he got dropped. If that goes the other way, Abel Ramos is a world champion. I mean, I heard Breadman Edwards, shout out to Breadman Edwards, man. Breadman's the beast. Stephen Breadman Edwards put it this way yesterday on the podcast. He said, I also watch YSN. So the Philly show. I like the Philly channel too because those are some of my favorite fighters. They always have Robert Garcia on, even though he's out in Cali. Jerron Ennis. I like Greg Hackett. I think me and Greg Hackett would be friends. But Breadman was like, in each division, there's the world champion, and then there's title holders. I was like, that's interesting. The way he put that made so much sense. In each division, you have the guy, even though there's the IBF, WBO, WBC, WBA, you have 4 if it's not unified, if it's not, if somebody doesn't have all of them, like not everyone's undisputed. That's such a rare thing. So you have the guy, and then you have title holders, guys who are just holding the title. Abel Ramos, he beats Barrios, he'd be a title holder. Are we putting Tamir Smalls up there? Let me show you these odds. We got a lot to talk about because we got the Elijah Pierce fight. Okay, so these 3 fights right here. Don't be scared. There's money. Circle these 3. There's money in these 3 fights. Last night, Abel Ramos on my book was $5.40. He's down to $4.20, meaning that you put 100 on Abel, you get your money back plus 320. It's not like Tamir Smalls has knockout power. It's not like he's massive for the division. It's not like he has world-class speed. He has a good jab, but Ramos has a good jab. Ramos is, I think, 33, 34 years old. Tamir's 26. So if anything, Ramos is on the back end of his prime, of physicality prime. Tamir's entering his physical prime. Ramos is on the twilight of his career. Smalls is hitting the trajectory of his career. So There, man, I'm not. I think we would be ill-advised to overlook Abel in this fight. If anything, once again, value play. I mean, uh, maybe I sprinkle something on Abel on the down low, and if he doesn't come through, I tell you I didn't bet on him. But then if he does it, I'm like, surprise, we hit. So like, I'm not lying to you guys. I think those odds are wrong. I think those odds are wrong. What are the boys saying? I already talked, Eddie. Eddie, I talked about this fight. So if you rewind like 25 minutes, I talked about Luis Lopez. I love when this happens. I love when we got some insider. So Tommy says I did knock out for Arturo. I like that too. Martinez fought tomato cans. Could hardly communicate with the dude when payment went. Could hardly communicate with the dude when payment went through. Not overthinking at all. Won't go through. What do you think of Cardenas versus Martinez? Tamir also struggled against Jose Vasquez, but Vasquez is tough and really tall, but I feel Ramos wouldn't have beaten him either. This is what I'm saying. Johnny, have you ever thought about maybe having the community do Zoom calls occasionally discuss the fights through audio? Just wanting to be met. I have a feature. You guys could call in, PJ. You could come on the show if that's what you mean. But Jean Pablo, I'd be betting with my heart. I have to stay away from that. 10 pounds, no respect for that. Yeah. Smalls is the strongest and most athletic fighter Abel has fought since Regis. But GK, they fought in 2015, dude. That was 11 years ago. He's and Regis 11 years ago, people forget Regis was an X factor because of his athleticism. Beating Vasquez, who Hackett lost to, is impressive to me. I'm sprinkling. Look, we're only going through these fights to kind of so you guys understand how I'm looking at it. You don't have to like the action's your action, by the way. As long as you own up to your own stuff, that we're all good. That plus money too good. I know, man. Plus money is wild. And I don't think his Abel. We'll see some props in a second. In terms of risk reward, it's better to bet on Abel. Yeah, I mean, we've seen him win as a big dog before. Tamir, you're risking a lot in your parlay. I agree. I'm just not sold on Tamir Smalls, man. I think Abel Ramos is a legit world level pro. He is. So let's see if we're getting. I mean, dude. I don't think Small stops Ramos. If he does win. Yeah, and the odds are saying that too. Will the fight go the distance? I think it goes the distance. So if you like Tamir, I would go Tamir on points, but that's not my pick. I'm saying if you do like Tamir, I would go Tamir on points at $1.73 if you like Tamir. But if you like Abel, the money line is already saucy at plus 320. That would be the play if you like Abel. Or plus 600 Abel on points, but you'll be salty if he stops him. Abel on points at plus 600 is wild to me. So yeah, I have my eyes on that. If I jump, I'll let you know. I want to talk about two more fights before we wrap this up. Okay. This one. Elijah Pierce versus Para. Now, we last covered Elijah's last fight against Das Marinas, and he was in trouble. Elijah Pierce, as of late, almost purposefully puts himself in trouble just to battle back. Fun fighter, fun guy to watch. Lorenzo Para could crack. And he could be touched up too. Both guys, will get touched up. Both guys got snap on their punches. This is a really fun fight too. Guys, don't let the mainstream boxing networks talk about like there's no good fights on. There are some good this is a fun fight. Elijah Pierce first part. This is gonna be a dogfight, dude. Now, am I convinced to say that I think Parr is gonna beat Elijah? I still got hope for Elijah. People say Elijah is chinny. I mean, I say Elijah's exciting. You know what I'm saying? One could say he's like he puts himself in the fire. He goes for it. The young buck says he stands on business. I want to play a knockdown prop in this though. So let's see if we can find knockdown props. Like total knockdowns. This is a fight that I could definitely see somebody hitting the canvas. Will the fight go look at that? Will the fight go the distance? Yes or no? Same thing. So this is good odds too. I think somebody gets stopped, but right now their knockout props aren't up. No. So I'm gonna keep my eyes on this fight. I'm put an asterisk by this fight because hopefully in the next 24 hours we'll get knockdown props. Like I would take over one knockdown, either side. I could see a knockdown happening in this fight. Hopefully we get that, and then I think we got one more I want to talk about. The Sugar and Vaquero. You guys should know my play already. I took Nav. The odds are slightly moving. I put my bet in 2 days ago. I got Nav at plus 180. So a little bit of money have come back on Nav. I got him on the money line. You know, my favorite word in boxing is what? Unified. So this is a unification. I think that Vaquero has fought guys like Sugar Nunez before. That style, that front foot style, that pressure forward. He can. I mean, Vaquero can handle pressure. He has the power to keep him off of him too. I like Vaquero on the money line. I don't like Sugar. Like once again, if Sugar Nunez's name was John Smith, John Smith's same record. John Smith, 29-1 with 27 knockouts with no nickname. John Smith might not be the favorite. I just think Sugar Nunez, the marketability, what he looks like, all of that, I think that kind of plays in the factor of the odds. And I'm not buying into the fact that 31 years old Vaquero is washed. I mean, his nickname's a cowboy for a reason. We might see Vaquero with a six-pack. I think, man, I lived in Long Beach, California for 7 years, and I worked at a Latin nightclub called Lapa Lapa. And the owner of Lapa, and it was right on the beach, right on the bike path. The ocean was right there. I could kayak and stand up paddleboard to work. Did it for probably stayed a little bit too long. You know, it was a Latin nightclub, live music. I wore Aloha shirts. Time of my life. I was in my early to mid 20s. And so the guy who owned it was a retired Vietnam vet named Phil, millionaire. He bought it as a retirement. It had a palm tree. It had a palm tree hut roof. That's what a palapa is. Imagine like palms, massive jazz Latin nightclub. And the clientele was like 30 plus, very classy. Everybody drove like very nice neighborhood, etc. And the owner had a second home in Puerto Vallarta, and in the 80s and 90s, going back and forth from Puerto Vallarta, they became friends with the head chef at one of these restaurants in Puerto Vallarta named Enrique Kiki. And by the time the early 2000s came and they were going to open their own restaurant, they paid Kiki and his staff to come to Long Beach and be the kitchen staff at Lapa Lapa. And then over time, I get there a couple years later, a lot of the other staff were from a place called Michoacan. And I say all that over 7 years working there, becoming like brothers with these guys. These are very competitive, proud people. And so I'm expecting, that's my only comparison, that's my only experience with friends that I've known for an extended period of time, born and raised in Mexico. Dude, I don't care if we were playing, we would play this game called, and everything was gambling. We had to gamble. And one of the gambling games we would play was called Line. And it was either like $5 minimum bet, depending on how busy we were. We would stand outside. These fools were crazy. We would stand outside. You put your $5 down or $20 down, and there'd be a crack or a line in the ground, and you would take a quarter. And each guy had a quarter, one on one. and then whoever could throw your quarter closest to the crack in the ground wins. That was like we played that for years, dude. Cats would be cleaning up the line game, and so that's just an example. We gambled on everything. You're telling me the Navarrete in an all Mexican unified world title fight isn't going to come in prepared? Shit. We know Sugar's going to come in prepared. He always is. The dude is like militant about it. But I think a highly prepared Sugar and a highly prepared Navarrete, when it's like this, I'm taking Nav, especially a plus 180. So it's coming. I haven't posted it yet. The safety net this week I haven't posted yet. I'm waiting for the morning to see if I get a couple other fights, but it's coming. What's up, Nick? Ramos versus Smalls is a draw. Heard it here first. The best draw caller. The draw caller. The over one knockdown is going to be like minus 240. Is that the odds you're predicting? I like that John Smith analogy. If he wasn't Vaquero, he was still. It just makes sense to me, man. It's just, I just feel like in all the boxing forums and in our Discord and, reading comments, when you're Nick, that's why people take the name, Sugar Shane Mosley, Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Cane Sandoval, Sugar Nunez. Whenever you put that sugar name on it, it's just sweet. Now with a flying upper, with his chin all elevated. That uppercut's coming from here with his chin here too. And then he'll wink. I think Nav will do Sugar similar to Valdez in the second fight. Ooh, I hope that. Yeah, it was popping, man. It was awesome. Boys, we got fights tonight in Sydney. If you guys want to watch, I think I'm going to go to the fights depending as long as I don't feel like shit after sparring. I was sparring at 5. The card starts at 6. It's right by my house. If you want to watch those fights, go to the Wanderer. I'll show you real quick. So if you go to Instagram and go to the promoters page, Wanderer Promotions. Now, Wanderer Promotions has the link here. And they say it's free, but I'll believe it when I see it. So you click on the link, and then this is it. Let me move my big ass head. Okay, so it starts in 5 hours. The link is on Instagram at Wanderer Promotions. February 20th, 5 p.m. Sign up to watch, and it's supposed to be free. Let's see what happens when we go sign up to watch. Okay, so Triller TV, sign in, etc. So yeah, watch, and then I might go live tonight. If I don't go to the fights, a margarita sounds good. So I was thinking, I've been craving margaritas for like a year. I haven't had a nice home. So at Lapa Lapa, I was a bartender, and it was a Latin place. So I had to make margaritas, mojitos, from scratch too. For the mojitos, I used to have to get a tin, and we specialize in them. Fresh mints, pluck the mints, cut the lime in half, muddle the mint with the lime, ice, splash of simple syrup that is basically sugar water boiled, and then you chill it, and then silver blanco rum, so like a 2.5 pour. Shake the shit out of it. Pour it in a big glass, and then top it with Sprite. But then my margaritas were my favorite. So I would do the liquor order, and I was a savage. There was a tequila called Corzo, Corzo, and it had like a tall rectangular bottle like this, and it would be like, dude, Corzo is expensive. I would order that shit just so I could drink. I would drink. That was that was the tequila I would drink on shift, and so fill up the ice shake, the metal ice shaker. I'd put like probably 2 shots of the Corzo in there, a little bit of the simple syrup, squeeze fresh lime in there, a splash of sours, shake it up, and then I would top it with some Grand Marnier. Call that a Cadillac. I might do that. She does. Your homegirl Chanel gonna be throwing crazy. Chanel, dude, half unit Chanel, half unit tonight. It's a different PJ. Breaking Bad is this is a PJ 100. So the PJ 100 and PJ the promoter are two different. This PJ is super rad. PJ the promoter is depressing. He whined. We almost had to put PJ the promoter on timeout. He's just a negative Nancy. PJ 100, he brings the energy that we like to see. All right, boys. I'll see you guys soon.